So I'm here at the Visitor Center in Olympic National Park in Port Angeles, and I thought I would just tell you a little bit about our time here, how we spent it, and what I learned and what I'd recommend. So we were here for 6 nights in Mora Campground. Unfortunately, while we were here, Hurricane Ridge was closed due to a fire at the Visitor Center. So you may be familiar with how it's often said that there are 3 national parks in one here at Olympic. You have the high country, mainly Hurricane Ridge, the mountainous region. Then you have the coastal region, and then you have the rainforest. So the high country was basically off limits, so we spent our time at the beaches and at the rainforests. And so both of those were very interesting and exciting. Even without the high country, I'm glad that we spent so many days here. I think we probably could have spent one less day. My kids thought the same. But by and large, it wasn't as if we wasted our time or anything like that. So the beaches are very, very good for kids. They are kind of pebbly, rocky, stony beaches that are not particularly warm, at least not in mid-June when we were here, but the kids loved them. They enjoyed playing with the seaweed and jumping on the rocks and trampling and scrambling all over the basically all of the logs that have been washed ashore and that sort of thing. They also really enjoyed the intertidal pools where we saw sea otters and starfish and scallops and other things like that, mussels. The rainforest was very interesting, although while we were there it was kind of dry and cool, so it didn't really feel much like a rainforest. Nonetheless, it was beautiful. Sol Duck Waterfall is probably the most beautiful waterfall I've ever seen myself on Earth. Would highly recommend it. The one thing I would say against Olympic National Park is that it doesn't feel like a national park. When you go into Yosemite or into Sequoia or into Zion, it feels like you are in a park, and all of the people around you are there for reasons like yourself. Whereas a place like Olympic or the Redwoods, you lose that feeling. You have the park, which sort of comes and goes. You go in and out of it many, many times as you go through towns, because it's not one big centrally located establishment. And that really kind of eats away at that really special feeling that some of you may be accustomed to, certainly that I'm accustomed to, that I really enjoy, which is you're at a park and you feel like you're in a park and you're among people who sort of think like you and want to do the sort of things that you want to do. Whereas in a place like this, because you're not centrally located, you're sort of popping in and out of the park constantly, and you're interacting with people who are on their way home from work and aren't there to vacation, and it's just a different demographic. And I'm not trying to say that those people are worse or something like that, but it's just different. Showing up to a place where everyone's kind of excited about the same thing is very different than just your normal cross-section of society. So that's what I would say against Olympic, is that it's missing that. Of course, if you look at a map and you see how the park is laid out, it's kind of obvious that it's missing that, so that was no surprise. But I didn't realize until we went through Redwood and Olympic how much I missed that. That's something I'm really looking forward to having in Glacier. And so that's Olympic National Park. It's a great one. I would say it's really good for kids, especially the coastal parts. And I hope that helps you plan your visit a little bit more. Take care.